Yes. Okay, welcome to the Rocket Launcher podcast. This is episode 143. I am your host, Supreme King. Join with me, as always, is my co host, and his name is.
Chicago Mazes.
Let me address one thing real quick that's kind of like probably off topic, slightly off topic. I just checked. I'm not a Discord person like that. I'm really not. Like I'll come on here quite literally just to do the podcast and then like never come back. But I noticed that a few of the supporters had tried to reach out. Not really to say, just to say like hello and stuff in
Oh, sure.
Discord. And some of these messages, well, one of them for sure was like back in February, and I didn't even know until I just like today, like quite literally like 5 minutes ago. And so that's my apologies. I don't really like as soon as we're done, like as people don't know, well, I can give you a reason why I'd be absent like on the solos. Like as soon as we go one day over from start to finish, I'm busy as like crazy, and I've got way too many people that answer to me at this point. So I haven't really seen anything like that. So for it to be like as old as February, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense for me to now see it. Because I remember thinking like at some point like sometimes YouTubers and stuff that have like their online disagreements, and then somebody will say something slick. It's like by the time I respond, if somebody said that to me, like no one else would have interest. Like it would quite literally be like 4 or 5 months later is when I would actually notice. But for anybody out there that has reached out just to say hi, hello, thank you for supporting, thank you for reaching out. I will respond. I know it's gonna be late. I'm gonna respond to all messages through Discord, and I guess that makes sense because you could tell obviously that this is Discord, the little like people part on the left, and then the big part is like obviously some gameplay. Um, so if you reach out, if you just want to say hi, or if you want to say hi in the comment section, that's another thing I got to do is like pay more attention to the comment section. Again, I'm not a good YouTuber at all. Like, I'm really not, and I apologize. But because I would see the views and stuff like right before I upload the next one. And at that point, the conversation is old or dead, and it's like I should have looked at it, um, like maybe like on a Monday or something like that. But Mondays are Mondays. So I apologize for that, but still, thank you so much for the support. Because I know I'm only giving like 10% right now, but I promise to do better. Agenda for today. Agenda. Um, So we had a Capcom show. My co-host here was out here, making excuses out here, getting a whole master's degree. He got a master's degree, y'all. He got a master's degree. Didn't have time to do the show, or watch the show.
Oh no.
He had to go get his master's degree. It's like, oh, okay, he got his priorities in order. He forgot the show. Anything you would say about your quote unquote accomplishments?
Yeah, man, it's been years in the making. Um, but finally got this degree. Did had to do my little defense. It went really well. It was funny. A mentor of mine, for years showed up, and he's a talker. So like in the middle of my defense, he kept like interjecting with like, "Yeah, this reminds me of a story," and then would just like trail off and like talk, and I just let him go ahead, even though it took up some of the time. But that's fine. But everybody seemed to enjoy it and went really well.
All right, so when we get to the Capcom section, if you notice one person is just not really, contributing as much, I just want to let you know that's probably the reason. So y'all can get on him in the comment section.
I'm
Anyways,
sorry.
uh, um, I'm gonna take a nice bit of time for this Meta Quest that just came out that apparently sold out faster than I thought it was going to sell out. But the first thing I want to do, because this is going to kind of lead into my topic, I want to address the Nintendo Switch 2. One
Okay.
thing that I really don't like right now. But before I do that, even then, I just want to also like mention the quick news that was interesting news. Apparently, the Switch 2, about 1 million worth of Switch 2s were stolen from off of a truck really early last
What?
week.
I did not hear
Um,
about that.
and it was about 3,000 units, something like that. And somehow that equals $1 million. I'm like, I gotta sit here and do the math on that. I'm like, I don't know how that worked, but that's what they were saying. Off of a truck, and then that was it. They just took the whole truck. The truck just was packed with Switch 2s, and yeah, it was stolen. It was gone. Did we have something like this happen with? I think it was the Playdate. The Playdate had this happen, but with the
Yeah, I think it was
Playdate,
their warehouse
yeah, they got
got
it
robbed
back,
or
right?
something, or the truck. Yeah, they ended up bringing it back.
I don't. That's kind
Which
of
I
funny. It's
think,
like I don't like the Playdate that much. I steal it and bring it right back. But
yeah, that makes me think that either they thought it was something else, or their intention was solely the truck, and they were trying not to get in trouble with the merchandise, right? Because once you deal a certain amount of product, like money, it becomes like a felony versus just a crime. It becomes a bigger deal. So if they
mhm.
thought it was like something, if you think you're only about to steal $500 and that's like a crime, and it's like, no, this is actually like $8,000 and it's like a felony. It's like, yeah, let me just go ahead and take this back, so I don't get in trouble.
Yeah, apparently it was around $1 million. So
Yeah, which is definitely a
um,
felony. And if that's not what you're intending, you're just gonna go ahead and take that back. But
yeah, but yeah. So that happened earlier on. So the Switch. The people out here are trying to get it. I do not see as of today the Switch 2 in any stores where you can just literally go in and just get it.
I've
The
seen images
closest,
where you could,
yeah, there are
like Target or
images
Walmart. Yeah.
in certain areas, but I guess at least over here where I am, I haven't seen it. I think a lot of people probably the same. You can contact your local Best Buy, I believe, or and then also GameStop, if I'm not mistaken, and try to see that way. But 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna be able to get it that way. You gotta like wait for them to do like their little online drops and stuff. Currently, which I still feel is unacceptable. I just kind of feel like there's no way you just have a new product and you make like these little, billboards and stuff that they have for this product, and then you go into those stores and they just don't have a product. That doesn't make sense to me. Like we should be way past this issue at this point. But that's actually not my issue with the Switch 2 right now. If y'all remember, um, they mentioned this whole virtual card cartridge thing, right?
Hmm.
Where is for them the way that it works is this is how you can share your games or whatever in a way, and then you can also like it does like a gimmick on the actual Switch where it's like, oh, here's the game, and you see the little picture on the cartridge, and it kind of like slaps itself into your Switch or Switch 2. Here was my issue. So I was on the first Switch actually. If anybody's actually watching or listening on a week to week basis, you probably heard me say I was going to put the Switch 2 away and go back to the Switch 1. And then I was going to also buy Mario Kart 8's DLC content and the remaining content from Super Smash Brothers, just to get all the characters and stuff, right? Get all the racing arenas and all the characters. And so I did do that. I did that like shortly after. And the problem was I pulled out the first Switch. Now, somebody out there is going to really be like, okay, this is really not that big of an issue. But it's going to lead into everything else, and you'll see what I mean. But I go and get the first Switch, um, and I hook up like the other controllers, the Nixie controllers and stuff, and I go to play it, right? And I already have Mario Kart in there, I have the cartridge inside of the Switch, and I go to Mario Kart, and when I go to Mario Kart, now this is after I purchase the Mario Kart's DLC, and I actually did it from the Switch 2 because the Switch 2 was already kind of like right in front of me. The Switch 1, have you ever had an issue with the Switch 1 where like you try to go to the eShop, but it's like making you go through so many hoops before you can even just get into it with the passwords and stuff?
Yeah, like you gotta remember my password, but it's like, you press it and it's like, pick the user. All right, what's the password? All right, select this. All right, now you're good to go. So it's annoying when you're in a
Like
rush.
it gave me a runaround with like you need to like sign in from your phone and all this stuff. And for whatever reason, on the Switch 2's interface, it don't give me that runaround. It's just like I click and I go right in. And so I was like, all right. I literally was like on the Switch 2 to buy the thing. So I buy the Mario Kart DLC on Switch 2. I jump back to Switch 1 to try to play it. And literally it prompted me to buy it again. It was like, you need to go to the store to purchase this. And I'm like, my God, I just purchased this. So I was like, okay, do they need to do a software update or something? So I go to check the software update. It was like, it didn't even need to do a software update. And I'm like, why is it telling me I need to buy the DLC for Mario Kart when I already own it? Like, what are they telling me? Because you literally cannot click it when you go to those racing arenas. And so I was like, what's going on? I go back to the Switch 2, and it was like, oh, you got to do the virtual card thing where you tell it to go back to the Switch 1. I was like, are you kidding me, bro? Like, literally, you got to make it do the gimmick where it says it's going to take the virtual card and put it back on here. You got to literally go to that virtual card thing in the menu before you go to the game to say it's on here now. So
That's
basically,
overcomplicated.
like you can't, like, let's say you a dad or something and you in the house and you have one account but you didn't make a secondary account. Like only one person can access that content. And is this a thing? Does that sound right? Like only one person can access the content at a time. You can't be on one machine and they be on another machine, basically.
That sounds like something they would do.
I was just like, what are we doing? Like what, like I was so used to, like, if you coming from another platform and you've downloaded or you've purchased something, you could just play it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go through all those extra steps. It was a lot of extra steps. Um and I kind of feel like that, like I know the virtual card thing is like a gimmick in itself. Like they try to market it that way, but I also know it's part of them trying to, like, you know, protect their like IP and all that other stuff. And I'm like, this is a purchased thing. It's purchased and it's on another device that's literally under the same Wi-Fi in the same house. I didn't even do, it's not even like I did the gimmick where it's like I'm loaning it to a friend for a couple weeks or something like that. It's like I'm trying to play my own thing and they made it harder for me to do it at first. And so honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I went through the gimmick to make sure it worked. When I saw it worked, I just turned it right back off because I didn't even want to do it no more, because it was just that annoying. um and yeah, so that's the thing with the virtual cards for anybody who don't got it yet. I'm just like, dude, that was just so stupid. But have you ran into this type of issue with them before, with like just being on the Switch, like having a regular Switch, but I don't know. I've never done game sharing or anything with
I
Nintendo.
haven't had that issue. I haven't gone to like a separate account on my Switch to try and do stuff. But no, I've never had that issue. I don't think I've used it enough to run into that issue though.
Yeah, I kind of have to go at Nintendo sideways real quick. Like that needs to be changed. I know they're just trying to, like, you know, it still has something to do with the whole piracy thing. A bunch of people with their Steam decks kind of thing. It's just that type of thing is gonna happen regardless.
Mm.
But like the person who bought the product and trying to play the product is like they not trying to keep up with that. Like how I said before, once you go to the next day, you're busy. Like any adult is just busy. They don't really have time to figure out all your gimmicks. They just want to turn the thing on and just play the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm pretty sure the average person who's not really even into the gaming would have not even like thought about all that extra stuff you would have had to do, especially when the Mario Kart game itself was a physical cartridge. Like the Mario Kart World is digital on the Switch 2 for me, but the first one I had, that was a physical cartridge. You know what I mean? So my thought process is like, yo, I got this game right here to play over here. And somehow, some way, because I purchased the DLC on the Switch 2, the DLC is ready to work on the Switch 2. It's so stupid, but the game you can't play on the Switch 2 because I went back and checked. I'm like, why is it making me do this? And like, if you go to it, it'll say you still need to put in the physical cartridge. And I'm like, but you telling me I got the virtual cartridge? It's like, I'm finding out looking at Reddit and stuff that, oh, they mean that's strictly for the DLC. I'm like, dude, I'll have to slap somebody over there. Like, what, like, why? That was just stupid. And who's gonna pay attention to all that? Like, really? You know what I mean? But listen, this gonna lead into my next topic because I'm gonna stop bashing Nintendo real quick. The MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition kind of came out of nowhere. I think last week we said they were a rumor, or not a rumor, but it was like a screenshot of the thing, and that I figured it was going to just like appear out of nowhere eventually because it was similar to like the handheld, but this thing just like came out, I want to say Monday or Tuesday, and I didn't even know it existed for more than 30 minutes before I just impulse bought it, bro. I'm not even gonna hold you up. I impulse bought the thing because it did one particular thing they showed that I was like at first hesitant on the VR thing, until they showed this, and I'm pretty sure they had this in the other VR headsets and stuff, but they had the big picture mode in there where you can blow up like a really, really, really big screen in virtual reality, mixed reality, in your home, and then just play your games that you already have on it, on there, or then like, you know, watch movies or whatever, social media, all that stuff, right? And I had looked at like Apple devices and stuff that do that, but you know, the Apple headset is like $3,000, right? So it's like, But this thing was like $400. I impulse bought it Monday or Tuesday. It arrived Friday, so I haven't had that much time with it. But honestly, like, you know how we talk next gen, like this technically ain't next gen. It was just a reprint of the MetaQuest already, but it felt next gen to me because I ain't had no VR before. But like the issue that I had with Nintendo, I had no issue here, and I'll explain. Like, literally, it comes in the mail, and it's funny enough. I get the alert that it was going to be coming as soon as I had to start work. So I was like, all right. I actually went to work. I didn't wait for it, and I had to like hope that didn't nobody take it off the front door on my way back. But then when I got back, like quite literally late in the evening, it was there, right? And I took it in the house and opened it up, charged it a little bit, and played it. But the key thing about it was Game Pass, for example. Literally, what's on the screen right now is South of Midnight. I was playing South of Midnight, right? The day before on a Thursday. And I put on the MetaQuest. I click on the Xbox app. I had to sign in, obviously. And it was like like the second I did that, it had like a whole list of stuff that I had been playing recently, and it was just like pick up where you left off, and it had like Doom: The Dark Ages, Oblivion, Expedition, South of Midnight, Forza 5, and a couple other things. I'm looking at it like, what? Like, how does it know this? Like, I didn't even I didn't turn on the PC. I didn't turn on the Series X. I just charged this thing up and then just turned it on. And I clicked into South of Midnight. It was not the first game, but I clicked into it, and it put me exactly where I was the day before on a whole nother system. I was on the Series X when I was playing it on my day off. This thing knew where I was, and it put me right there, and I'm playing it in the virtual space in the cloud. And I was just like blown away by that, right? Because I'm like, yo, this was on a console that's not even related to Meta, right? And then I click into Expedition 33. This is a game I've already finished, and that I played on PC, and it put me directly where I was at the finish point, basically. And I'm like, yo, it synced console and PC data into this headset. I didn't have to do none of this gimmick crap. I didn't have to do none of this like VR virtual cards, CDs, none of that, bro. It put me right there, and I was able to play. And it didn't even feel like it was like on a cloud. It didn't even feel like it. It was incredible. Honestly, it was like I went into Forza Horizon 5, and I had like the same car that I had. This is when I first actually realized that it synced everything, because I went into it, I was fully expecting to have to like go through the intro, because the intro is pretty fun, where they like drop cars out of a plane in the sky, and it's like parachute down, and you just hit the ground and just drive. Like, it didn't even do that. It had me right at the car, and it was a all red McLaren car with the license plate saying Supreme on it. And I know I did that from off the Series X, and I was like, is this the same car? That's the same car. And I was playing it, and I had like the VR mode, and was just like, yo, like, it's the same game where I was at, but it's like now like picked it up here versus the system. And I was just like, yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. But I had no issues with like none of the whole like you gotta update to the latest version, and then you gotta go to some cloud and upload your data, and then go to another thing and download the data. That none of that, bro. I just played. Like, that was user friendly. And then like, I don't know if you've seen any of those like videos where like you could have just screens just everywhere. Like, it really was like that. It was like that. Like, you can literally like cook, right? And then just have a screen that's like a tutorial on whatever you're trying to cook, and then like ingredient screen if you're in the kitchen or whatever, right? I could pull up the social media directly in it as well, and I could have that on a screen on the side, and then the screen in the middle is like something else completely different, like Twitch or something. And it was just mind blowing for me, mind blowing. And I've had like gaming for like every little thing else, but I never had VR at all. It was like my first VR experience, and I hadn't really done anything still that heavy in VR where it's like VR games. It was just more just that virtual screen, because like you could blow it up to like 150 inches if I'm not mistaken. It just like takes over like your entire image in front of you, and and nobody else would know, because it's like you just have a headset on, right? And then you can still kind of see everything else that's going on if you're in that mode. But bro, I know I didn't say too much. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. I couldn't believe what I was experiencing, bro. Like, anybody out there, and this is crazy because nobody knows my background. I cannot believe I actually am supporting Mark Zuckerberg technically, because this is technically his product. Anybody out there that does not have a VR headset and you're on the fence, absolutely go get this one. Now the all black one sold out in this first week. I don't like that either. I still feel just like with like the Switch, you got a new product, get enough, volume of it to go out there so the people can get it. But you can get the white one that's been out there for ages. That is, it's a lot of different price points depending on the type of one you get, because there's the 3S and then there's just the 3. The 3 is a little bit more expensive. I think there's more going on with it. But the basic stuff that I want to do, the 3S got me covered. Like, and I think people should definitely take a look at it. On the VR side of things, MetaQuest is landing all of the exclusives anyway. Like, I plan to go and get the Batman game at some point. I think this thing comes with like 3 months of Meta's Game Pass, whatever they call it. But I didn't activate that yet. But yeah, bro, I was sold. I was sold when I saw it, but when I experienced it, I couldn't believe what I was seeing, bro. I couldn't believe that everything was just synced up. It was just synced up. And it's like, yo, like the ecosystem is insane over there on Xbox for them to be able to do this. Because in my head, your progress in what you do on your console is almost like a brick wall. Like, it's completely separate from PC unless you have the crossplay kind of thing going on. But usually save data is not synced up like that. Usually. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm not hip to the game, but like this was the first time I saw like where the save data.
Well, it depends on the game. But
Yeah,
like,
it usually depends on the game, right?
Yeah,
but
you can just go back and forth.
Yeah, there's a couple more things on it that I haven't tried out yet that people, because I was telling people at my job about it. I told this dude went out and literally bought it right then and there yesterday. He bought the most expensive version yesterday. But you can access Steam's VR as well. And you can do Steam in it as well. So you're talking about like having Xbox and Steam all in one go. You know what I mean? And then at the same time, you're looking at like maybe Nintendo's stuff like not being in there, but the community is gonna figure it out eventually. And then at that point, you just got everything. You know what I mean? Do you have the PlayStation 1, right?
Oh, my brother does.
Did you give it back?
Yeah.
Was you looking into getting the PSVR 2?
Probably not. Because I barely used when I borrowed the VR1, I barely used it. Like, I would have to dedicate time to like really want to use it. Because it just feels like something I would just buy and it's just gonna sit there.
Yeah. Does it do any of that though? Does it do like big picture mode or like?
I believe so. Like it'll just magnify like whatever screen you have. So like, even if you're not playing a VR set game, you can have it to where it just displays the screen, up for whatever you're like watching or doing. So it's just like a screen floating in the air.
Okay, and it's like everything that you normally would like what you're like playing, right? Like on the actual PS5.
Yep. And it also displays on the if you have the TV screen on and like the PS5 hooked to it or PS4, it'll display that on the TV as well. Like whatever's going on TV, you would see on the screen. If it's VR, then you're like in it. But like if it's not VR, then it's just like a screen. Like it looks like a like giant box floating in the air.
Okay, yeah, I had like that's how it is for me. And then you can either set it in place or like have it move around with you, that kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's highly useful for me. Like if I'm coming home from like work or something, I don't want to have like I don't want to have to like continue to like put like turn on the actual TV sometime, you know what I mean? and like hook up a whole bunch of stuff, and like at that point you really dedicated to whatever you're doing. It's like, no, this I could just slap the headset on and just go. You know what I mean? Amazing. But yeah, impulse buy. I just bought it, bro. I just bought it, but it sold out. Right within like 3 days, I guess. So hopefully there'll be more of it. Capcom show, obviously, we know like with the Capcom show, it was probably only going to be the same stuff as before. But I did wanted to just like mention it. Like, it's one of the things that I actually watched in VR as well. I watched it on like a super giant screen. And it was incredible just to see it that way. But honestly, it was still the same stuff we had already been like seeing before from like some of the directs and some of the summer shows. So like really the Pragmata game was the first thing they showed. I already told you before, like I'm not even really like giving them a chance until it actually comes out, because the Pragmata game is like literally, it was just another, here's a trailer and then they said sorry at the end. And so for me, I'm like, all right, bro. But they showed it. It had more content, I guess, more gameplay. Was that something you like? Do you like that game, or is it on your list?
It's on my list as like, keep an eye on, not like a guaranteed buy. I want to see more.
Okay.
I like heavily story driven stuff. That also looks like it has interesting gameplay. And I mean, this is a story driven game, so I still need to hear how it goes. But it's something that's like it's on the radar.
Um, it looks okay. Like I'm not gonna hate on it,
Yeah,
but the I'm sorry trailers just don't. At that point, it's just like, well, you crying wolf for a while now, but when it come out is when we'll actually like take a look at it. Street Fighter 6 content, they mentioned that it was also going to be on the Switch too. Or what am I trying? They're going to come out with it on the Switch too as well. I think we already kind of knew that anyway. But are you familiar with Sagat? Like it was a original original Street Fighter boss from like one of the earlier games. Like they
yeah.
just said, they said he was going to be available on DLC August 5th, 2025.
Oh,
And then like a whole bunch of like other little contents coming for Street Fighter, and they said they were going to like revamp some stuff as well. Street Fighter been out for a minute, but they
yeah,
kind of presented it like it was like still kind of new, but I'm pretty sure
yeah.
that one's been out for a minute. They followed it up with like Resident Evil Requiem. So for
Okay.
anybody, that's Resident Evil 9. The main thing I like about it is you can switch between first and third person. So if anybody was not aware, you can switch between first and third person, um, like on the fly, basically.
That's cool.
And then Monster Hunter Wilds. Monster Hunter Wilds, I think is not really new anymore. Well, I mean it's new-ish, but that's been out for a little bit as well. They showed like more content. They brought back the cats. You remember the cats?
Oh yeah.
They they had the cats doing emote dances and stuff. Uh, and so they were showing that off. And um, yeah, I mean, Monster Hunter. They showed them fighting in the ocean, which I thought was pretty cool with like the dragon or whatever. But I'm not too familiar with Wilds, because I don't have it yet. But the player base is hot. The player base is still big, so I guess that's why they made it last. Because I would imagine like Resident Evil Requiem, I would have thought they would have let as last, but they went with Monster Hunter as last, I guess. Um, which was kind of strange because it's like, well, that's a game that's already out, right? But
Probably because
uh,
Requiem was already last in a different show.
yeah, you're right. You're right. But yeah, tell me, Randy Pritchard. Who is that again? I know that name, but I don't know who.
The Borderlands guy.
Oh, he's still talking trash.
Yeah. So, um, we had the whole True Fans debacle. And then later, when Tiny Tina's Wonderland was free on Epic, he tweeted out, "For our real fans who may be cost sensitive, the very awesome and incredibly fun smash hit video game, Tiny Tina's Wonderland is, all caps, free this week on the Epic Game Store. Please enjoy this, all caps, free gift by grabbing your, all caps, free copy here, comma, all caps, free." And everybody's just like, dude, just
He's being
stay off
sarcastic.
of Twitter, yeah. And then now he just tweeted recently, um, that right now Borderlands 3 is on sale for 95% off on the Steam sale. Um, and he decided to go, sales like this and Borderlands 3 showing up on console subscription programs took over 5 years from the game's launch to happen. Which I mean, it was given away for free like earlier, but okay. Take advantage when it's here, and to set expectations, it will be even longer before this kind of thing happens in the next cycle with Borderlands 4. Why did he have to say that last statement? Like, he could have just left it off. And people was like, I thought you said you weren't in charge of pricing or anything. And he goes, I'm not. That's marketing. And it's like, then how are you making these statements saying it's not going to go on sale? And I'm like, dude, you keep talking, no one's going to buy your game, and then it's going to be on sale within a month. Like, that's what's been happening with all these other games. They do poorly, and then they're instantly on sale, and he keeps running his mouth to where nobody wants to buy it. And like, people are even saying in the comments, oh, his true fans are just going to wait a year to get your game because you're ruining it. And somebody else even just said, it was like, you could tell they're a foreigner, where like English isn't their first language, and they're like, hello, Randy Pitchford, I love your games. You make it so hard to like you.
Is he like he's trying to do damage control, right?
He is,
But
and he could have just said, hey, this sale is awesome. Pick up Borderlands 3 if you haven't already. Done.
how
He didn't have to be like, Borderlands 4 ain't going to be on a sale like this for a long time. Like, you don't know that.
how high up is he in that company where
I think he's the director.
okay, so nobody's telling him like that he don't have nobody who could tell him like stop, basically.
I don't think so. They can suggest it, but they can't tell him.
Ain't nobody gonna suggest it. Nobody's gonna say something like that to the boss.
Yeah, he is the CEO of Gearbox. He the boss.
But there's
He
no like
co-founded Gearbox.
what about the like I guess investors or nobody? I don't know. I guess because I just seen because this is like the third or fourth time, right? Like that he didn't say something and like ruin the interest of like the masses, I guess.
He's the president of Gearbox Studios and the president and CEO of their parent company, Gearbox Entertainment Company. So he's the Vince McMahon. Ain't nobody telling him nothing.
Ain't nobody telling him nothing. I guess, man, that's silly. I
But yeah, it's
think,
just he won't stay off of
yeah.
Twitter. Like, it's just, to temper expectations. And it's like, no one was even thinking about Borderlands 4 being on sale. And then you just straight up was like, it ain't going to be on sale forever. Like, you could have just been quiet.
Oh, do we know the release date?
What is it, October or something?
October something. So the movie failed. I don't think that's his fault, but the movie failed, right?
I blame him. That's his
You
fault.
blame him. Most
It's
of
just
the
initial release date 2025.
okay, and then most of the other titles are relatively cheap. Tiny Tina was just given away on Epic, right? But it was I don't know if it was given away somewhere else, but
Yeah, I don't think so. But it was given away on Epic. It's on sale. Well, it's on sale as well. Like, they're pretty cheap to get right now. I know it's just good. It's a good time to jump in if you haven't played them. I'm enjoying Wonderland a lot. So, It's a good game. He just keeps messing up. Like he keeps running his mouth over just nothing, and it's like he keeps focusing on price, and he's like trying to again play like damage control over pricing stuff, but it's just making it worse. He's not seeing that.
Yeah. What about all right, we can move forward. Um so tell me again, Sonic and Magic the Gathering. The
Yeah.
crossover
So
is on the card side,
the
right?
card game. Yep.
Okay. Cuz you know they did
So
like 50 different people in that racing game.
yeah.
But
I mean, they might bring in a planeswalker or something in for the racing game, but Magic the Gathering through their secret lair sets have been doing crossovers with a lot of other stuff. So they just crossed over with Final Fantasy, which went crazy. Like there was a bunch of people who like are heavy Final Fantasy players but do not play Magic the Gathering, buying up the sets just so they can have Final Fantasy art uh cards. So that set like sold out. Things are super expensive. Like at one of the a friend of mine went to one of the like draft events at like a comic book store, um, where they would like you get a few packs, play each other, all that stuff. And you can get prizes. And one dude pulled a card that's already worth $2,000.
$2,000.
Yep.
Really?
Yep. So the card is priced. It's like so rare that it's priced at $2,000, and you just pulled it from a booster pack,
A
ready
booster
to sell.
pack. That's
Yep.
crazy.
So of course you like it's very difficult to get the 2,000. Usually what happens is it's priced at 2,000, so you can sell it to the comic book store for like 1,500, something like that. Like
Or
they
you do
always
it
like,
online yourself.
yep, or do it online yourself. But then you got to go through all the hoops of dealing with the online stuff. So if you want to just like quick sell it, then you just lose out on a couple. But I mean, still 1,500 for a card that you paid $30 to get, basically. Like you paid $30 for the event, and you're given a bunch of booster packs,
Oh, I was
and
about
then
to
you
say,
pull a
like, is
card.
it $30? It's not 30 for the booster though. It's 30 just
No,
to
no,
go
no,
to the
no.
event. Okay,
Yeah, 30 for the event, and they
I
give
got
you
you.
like 6 booster packs
Okay,
on the spot, and you build a deck, and then like a lot of them do things where if you win, like if you place like so high, then you also get extra booster packs as like a
okay,
prize. So it's 30 for the event, and then within this event and all the cards he got, he also got a card worth $2,000.
wow.
Yeah.
Hey, more power
So
to him if it's really. So is it like how does that? So it's just the demand for it and that is rare and stuff.
yep. So that means there was only like
Okay,
remember how like in the old Yu-Gi-Oh show where like Kaiba was like, "There's only 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons that exist,"
right.
or like there was 4 and then he ripped one. There are certain cards that are like that where like they've only printed like 10 total out
Hmm.
of the whole set, um, which makes them super expensive. Or if like a card's been out of print for so long, like there's this one card that they completely stopped just making a long time ago, and that thing is worth a lot of money. It's like some tree that has like it's like a super overpowered ability. So like if you're playing any sort of tournament stuff, the card's banned because it's like it's too overpowered anyways. But if you have it, like the thing is worth like almost like $5,000.
That's crazy. Now
Yep,
you already know what I'm gonna say. Let
I
me
know. Just
head.
print
Let
a
me
copy
just print
online
that
and tape
bad
it.
boy. Cause I just feel all right, all right, all right. I'm gonna say it one last time, and I'm not. I'm gonna just listen. It's like if you gonna play 90% of the people, you gonna play with your inner circle, right? And so it's like y'all whatever the rules is, it's like yeah that's the rules, but it's like it's y'all in your own den, y'all in your own basements, whatever it is, and y'all playing with each other. It's like are y'all really not gonna play with your friend because your friend printed the card? It's like you print yours and he print his and y'all just have a good old time and y'all play at your absolute best, whatever y'all thought y'all was gonna be at with the certain cards. That's just kind of how I look at it in a nice, respectful way. I know I sound crazy to everybody else, but
I think the issue is just because the point of the card game stuff is specifically to like you're collecting, right? So if you're just
Mm-hmm.
going online to just print, then you didn't actually do the collecting part, right? It's almost like using fixed dice for Dungeons and Dragons a little bit, right? It removes, or like using dice as like these don't roll below a 10, and it's just like, well,
Mm-hmm.
then you kind of ruining the point. I mean, not to say like it's like when your kids or again, if it's your inner circle and you
Yeah.
guys are just like, let's just make it like whatever dream deck we want, because we just want to do that. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's when it's like you could be playing random people.
Yeah, now if
Then
you're
it's like,
going
all
to
right,
events, then yeah, you probably can't do that. I just kind of feel
yeah.
like that's me killing two birds with one stone. That's just kind of how I think about it. But that's okay.
But
I get ain't nobody gonna want to do that. But you could really like get the laminated paper, the glossy paper, and just I ain't paying no 2,000 for no card. I'm a absolutely go get the best printing stuff and do it. That's just me. That's just me.
fair.
But I did
But
get.
yeah, so go ahead.
I was just gonna say I did buy the Egyptian god cards that one time. I have all three of them somewhere.
Oh, see, yeah,
But they were $2 each, and it was on
that's
Amazon. And it's like I was like, okay, $6 altogether. Big cards from my childhood. I didn't really, yeah, but I wouldn't have never thought to be like 700 each or something crazy like that. No, no. But that's just me. More power to the people who do it.
fair.
I can't,
Yeah, I didn't spend
because
that much.
somebody
But
else gonna probably be like, well, you just bought a headset for like 400 and you didn't even think and blah blah blah. So I
but
get you.
there's you know
No, that's not
it's
a
a
good comparison.
whole. Oh, I mean, it's a whole VR headset versus a card. But
It's
like
like
I
whatever
don't
your
know.
niche is, though, right?
Yeah, that's true. Uh,
Yes,
but
sir.
yeah. So they're crossing over with Sonic the Hedgehog. So they're gonna have Sonic themed cards like they did with Final Fantasy, or Spider Man or SpongeBob and Lord of the Rings. Um, so yeah, I think Sonic is up next, and then Avatar: The Last Airbender is after that.
Okay. I do want to give a quick shout out to the game on screen. This is Persona 5 Royal, fan
Hey,
favorite. Their free to play game just released this week or last week, if I'm not mistaken.
oh,
The one you was mentioning before,
Persona 5,
Phantom.
the Phantom X.
Yeah, Phantom X. So anybody out there, you can go and grab that on Steam. And I do want to just go ahead and transition into the Epic Games portion where we talk about free games, but that's one of them that you can get. It is available under Steam. I have not tried it. I don't know about any gotcha mechanics or anything. I can't really report on that, but I can at least say it's available, right? Um, Speaking of available, Sable is available from now to July 3rd. And actually, it said I had already owned it, and then I saw a report online that said like they gave this away probably like 3 years ago or something like that. So I didn't realize it was that much time, if that's the case. Um, that I've been like rocking with Epic, but it's available right now until July 3rd. And do you remember me saying like, oh, they might come out with a really big game for July 4th? Well, maybe that's not the case, depending on how you look at it. But from July 3rd to July 10th, the two games that's going to be available is one of them is called Backpack Hero, and the other one is called Figment. And I don't know, I don't think either one of them are big games, but at least you have just more free games that you can have while you do some barbecuing. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Um, any type of games or something out there from the Amazon world or anywhere else that you might want to mention, or did you get on to any like sales or anything like that?
so, besides the Borderlands games being on sale, all of the games from the Amazon for the month of June are available. So you can go pick those up.
There's a big Steam summer sale that I've just noticed. I haven't really seen any of the actual stuff yet,
Okay.
but like when you open Steam, it'll just be right in front of your face. It'll say like Steam summer sale or whatever.
Yeah.
So y'all can go through that, look at your
GameStop
wish
is
list.
doing a GameStop's doing a sale on anime related games.
Mm,
Or anything that's like from an anime, so Dragon Ball Z, Jujutsu Kaisen, One Piece, all of those are on sale.
okay. Um, in a minute we're gonna talk about July releases, but Death Stranding 2 released 2 days ago, and it is a relatively positive reaction to it, but it's 90 from the critics and 8.4 from the players. That's what I'm hearing. What do you
Sounds
think
about
about
right.
that? Sounds about right?
That sounds right because I feel like the critics are gonna look for like, oh, look at this deeper meaning and all this other stuff, and when you go with Kojima, everything's a deeper meaning. Like, look at the way he breathed. But
But they trashed the first one though. You remember they gave it like a 60 or something and act like they
oh,
didn't
that's right.
understand.
That is
And,
correct. You're right. I
and it
forgot
was
about
like
that.
it was still the same thing where it's like you're doing the delivery, you walk in, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. But
Maybe
they
they understand this
absolutely,
one more.
yeah, they maybe they had to grow into it.
Eh, the game, and then for the player base, that seems right. Like I feel like it's a good game for those that are a fan of it.
Yeah.
Nothing
Um,
groundbreaking, nothing like crazy, and it's not gonna be terrible. It's a good game, really good game. But it's not my style. It looks, to be honest, it looked kind of boring for me. Uh,
walking simulators, you don't like that?
yeah. So I was like, yeah, I'm okay.
I did some walking simulating this morning, man. I went out to
I don't think it's
I walked
stimulating.
around
You
I
walked.
walked around the neighborhood around like 7 or 8. I had
Hey.
this just a quick side note. I bought this backpack that has like a whole water pot, like a water pack in it. That was the
Ah.
whole point of it. It was like it. You just got this water tank on your back, basically, and then you have like this hose that comes down the strap.
Okay.
That you can either put on the left or the right side of the strap, and then you can have other stuff. It's like a whole camping thing. It's really small, but it was like, okay, I can drink from the hose, and I don't have to like hold a water bottle.
That's what's
And
up.
so like I was using it for the first time today. I had it for like a week, but highly recommended. People go out there and go get that. That's like it was like $20. Yeah, very tiny backpack though. It's not like you could fit a laptop in it or nothing. It was like you just put your personals in there, maybe your keys or something, and then it's just like this water packet.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, back onto the agenda. The last thing really to just mention is just July releases. That's all I really wanted to go over. Um, anything in July that stands out to you? Anything that you know before I just like pull out the list?
Uh, no, there's nothing that stands out. When does this
Um,
Dispatch doesn't come out in July, does it?
say it again.
Dispatch.
Dispatch? I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Okay, then yeah,
Um,
no, nothing stands out.
but I do know the big game for Nintendo, even though I just bashed them a little bit, is Donkey Kong Bonanza. That one comes out July 17th. I shouldn't have an issue with the whole back and forth with that one because that's supposed to be only on the Switch too. But honestly, I'm just gonna shelve it. I did buy it through pre-order. But when it comes in, it's literally just gonna go with the rest of the stuff on the shelf. I'm not gonna really talk about it or play it until I get calm down on the headset and Game Pass and all of that. But we mentioned it briefly off air. EA Sports College Football 26 will be releasing on July 10th. I had no idea that was a thing until it was a thing. Because I think you mentioned before off air it was not really promoted as much. But that's followed by a game that is promoted a little bit more. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, July 11th. Very next day. That Shadow Labyrinth game is on July 18th. If for anybody that remembers, that's the hack and slash 2D game that has like some Pac-Man in it. Actually, the Drifter is here. I see it, July 17th. The Drifter is on here. So yes, July 17th. So that's only on PC. That's something you wish list. That's on your radar, basically.
I said dispatch.
Oh, I'm done. Okay. Well, forget what I said. Killing Floor 3. I think I recognize that name.
Oh, that's what I'm excited for.
July 24th for Killing Floor 3. Super Mario Party Jamboree, the Switch 2 version. So it has Jamboree TV. That's releasing July 24th. So if that's correct, I don't know. I thought that launched with the Switch 2. Like you would just get the DLC right away. So I guess you just did. Okay. So everybody was still playing the regular Super Mario Party, I guess. Let me ask you, do you have Nintendo Online? Like just the basic, the $20 one?
Yes.
Maybe we could play one of these. Do you have one of these? The one of these Super Mario parties? I don't. But I'm willing to go get Jamboree if you get it. Breath of fresh air.
I mean, I'd be down to get it, but yeah, I don't have one.
We'll talk about it off air. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, because I thought about like trying some of the stuff. I haven't bought all this stuff.
I mean, if you wanted to test out first before the party thing, if you have the Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, that has co-op.
Oh, it does. Maybe we can make that one of our co-ops.
Okay.
I ain't gonna hold you up. Let's take a tiny break. PlayStation announced Diablo 4 is one of their games. I want to play that like as soon as we done.
Okay.
I've never really played the Diablo series like that.
So I played through, of course, Diablo 3 multiple times. I didn't play 4 because I didn't like the micro transactions in it.
Right.
Now that it's free, I'll play through it.
Yeah.
I'm still not going to put in money like I did for... Like, I didn't put any money in for Diablo 3, right? And I didn't put it in for 4. My biggest issue was how much they were monetizing it.
Right,
because the point of the game is you go through the dungeon and you loot. So then if you start locking cool-looking loot behind money, and it's like, that was the point of the game, right? It'd be like playing NBA 2K for season, doing a season mode, but you can pay to just have one certain games. And it's like the whole point is to play the game, not pay your way through a winning season, right? So
yeah,
I didn't like that, but again, it's free. I'm willing to try it out.
One of the games that I have wanted to play with you was from the showcase, was the top-down game that was like a Resident Evil looking game that was called Whisper Mountain Outbreak. That was like a co-op title.
Oh yeah, that looked good.
But part of it was because of the way it's like it's centered like Diablo slightly, and it was like we ain't never really did that type of game, you know.
Yeah.
But now that Diablo's there, it's like, okay, we could play Diablo first, and this one can hold off until it's like on sale.
Okay.
But yeah, that was one of them. Let me see. Wo-Chang Fallen Feathers. If anybody remembers, that was like more of a hack and slasher. Grounded 2's preview is, well, wait, first. Wo-Chang Fallen Feathers is July 24th. Grounded 2 is July 29th, but it looks like it's more of an early access version. And then Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is July 31st.
Okay.
Basically. That's an actually decent amount of a list.
Yeah.
When you really look at it, that's actually very decent. Nothing in there, I'm gonna be honest, nothing in there I'm pretty much trying to do a day one by.
Yeah.
And Grounded I know is in Game Pass, but I'm not trying to touch that either. That's the
Well, there's not
game where
gonna
you
be
play
a
the
day one
spiders.
buy. Yeah, I want to try out Grounded, at least the first one eventually, and then
Yeah.
it's not gonna be a day one buy, but I am interested in Killing Floor 3.
Are you one of those people who's like scared of spiders?
Oh, I used to be. I used to have a strong case of arachnophobia. Matter of fact, you know how I got over it? I was
Hmm.
driving on the freeway one day, and there was a spider on like the roof of the
Yikes.
car on the inside, and I had nowhere to pull over, and I couldn't just like let it keep going. So like I screamed and then smacked it with my hand, and it killed it. But like that was like where I had the sense of, oh yeah, I am like vastly bigger than a spider. Like if that's what I saw it before. I used to stand across the room and like throw a shoe, and if it
Yeah,
missed, I just wouldn't go back in the room.
but I know it ain't like the Australian ones. Like I've seen the
Oh,
you
yeah,
seen that
no.
video? It was the Australian one. It was like basically the size of the hand,
Bro, they have
like
the one called the
Adam's family.
Goliath. Yeah, the Goliath Bird Eater, which is where they got the inspiration for the character Venom in
Oh my
Spider-Man, and
gosh.
it has the name not because it's known for eating birds, but because it can eat a bird
Oh my gosh.
because of how big it is. Like I don't know, everything in Australia is deadly.
Ugh. Well, I look forward to gaming on July 4th specifically because, well, I think I have 2 days off actually. So South of Midnight for sure will be finished. Um, and then I am excited to do Metaphor Refantasio as a very long term title through Game Pass because when I'm coming home during the week, I could pull it up through my headset, and then when I'm home, I can blow it up on a proper screen and stuff. And I'm really excited about the variety that I have now with some of these titles. Anything else, bro?
No, that's it.
All right, we can game, man. We can game. Let's hop right into it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I will catch y'all next week. Thank you so much for the support from the people. Enjoy July 4th. Peace.